Hello, Lila here, and we are going to do a quick little training on how to take Shilajit. I have found a method that seems to be really helpful and kind of streamlined all the messiness that comes with taking Shilajit. So come to this with an open mind because this is definitely one of the more potent tasting, smelling herbs. We call it an herb. It's really a rock exude. It's a bunch of minerals. It's not technically botanical, but it can be a bit challenging to take because we basically have a jar of sticky tar. So you can see like it's not going anywhere. It's sticky and it was a little cold where I was storing it, so it feels pretty solid. So Shilajit, you can smell it. It has a very tarry smell. I don't so much mind the taste, but it's, not the best. And I do recommend you do try it, just to kind of get familiar with what you're putting in your body. And, you know, I think it's worthwhile. But there are ways to take it where you are minimizing the taste. So the first way that you can take it is by stirring it into water. It tastes terrible though, like let's be honest. So the way I've figured out how to take it is like this. You're going to need some blade papes, a scale, and I've been using a chopstick, but you could get away with something similar. You can see the Shilajit in my teeth. You can get away with something similar. I would recommend a metal chopstick. I only have a wooden one right now, so that's what I'm using. And then I'm using blade papes. The blade papes I have are the pouches, but I think what would actually work better than the pouches would be just the squares that you can get. So blade papes are a gel film that you can put powders, you can put capsules, you can put herbs in, fold it up, dip it in water, kind of seal it and swallow it down. So you're not tasting the herb you're getting. It can be a really good strategy for getting in herbs. So what I have been doing is I take my scale and set it up, and I take my chopstick and I dig it in and get my hair out. I've been trying to estimate about 5-gram balls. If you take more than that, it's a bit hard to swallow and things get a little sketchy. And if you're just starting out with the Shilajit, start low, get the minimum amount, get comfortable swallowing the blade papes and doing it this way. And then go from there. So I just eyeball a certain amount. Yeah, like that's probably close-ish to 5 grams. And I get it on my chopstick or whatever utensil you're using. And then I get my blade paper. And again, the squares would work better. I wasn't thinking through it when I bought these. And then I stick the Shilajit in the paper and I just kind of pinch it off. You will get a little sticky at the end, and that's how I weigh it. So 5.37 grams. That's great. I can work with that. Set that aside. So now that we have our bowl of Shilajit, I don't know how much you're taking. It might be 5 grams a day. It might be 30 grams a day. I would recommend dividing the doses and doing, smaller doses throughout the day and trying to get the 30 grams in at once. And of course, work your way up to that dose. But once you have this, sometimes I'll kind of manipulate the shape and make it something easier to swallow. You dip it in water. Make sure it kind of gets a nice seal on it. And then you take it. You might taste it a little bit. I've taken up to 15 grams at a time that way, just 1, 2, 3, packs of the Shilajit, and it's been fine. Again, work your way up to the proper dosing and all of that good stuff. But this is the way I have found to be most effective. The alternative, again, is you are stirring it into water, but it's pretty gnarly. And that's a lot to stir into water. So I would recommend this method, and you'll get good at like eyeballing, right? Like that's probably pretty close to 5 grams. You get your blade pape, you can kind of manipulate it quickly without it sticking, but it will get sticky. So be careful. Shove it in the paper. Sometimes I use two, like if my paper rips or something, and then, you'll get good at doing this process. So that was about just shy of 6 grams. So doesn't have to be perfect. You'll get in the flow of it. You'll get little plastic pieces around. It's fine. They dissolve. It's a gel paper. You're good. Okay. Store in a cool place. Shilajit shouldn't expire. It should have a pretty good shelf life on it. I mean, after all, it is millions of years old. And that is all I have to say on that. I recommend if you are going to take Shilajit, you take the resin. You're not taking a dehydrated, capsulated form. I have a feeling that it loses its benefits when we do that. So I have found the resin to be great, and I have a really nice wholesale hookup on the resin, which is lovely because Shilajit is very expensive. Um, that is it for the training on how to take Shilajit. If you come up with any hacks, I'd love to hear them. Um, at the end of the day, or maybe at the end of a week, I'll just stick this in hot water and then wash it like a dish, and it comes right off. It's not a big deal. But this is going to be weird. There's going to be a learning curve. It is a weird substance that you're like, should this even be going in my body? So start low, go slow, get comfortable, smell it, taste it, get familiar. Know it's an ally, and reach out if you have any questions.